Hi, hello, happy Sabbath and Shabbat Shalom. I didn't make a lot of progress on this past week. I made a little progress on Sunday. But I spent a lot of my time Sunday and Monday rebuilding this cross slide and fixing it and figuring it out and locking up that end with some temporary blockers. They're removable. They're just pieces of metal dropped in there. That one I custom ground, tapped it in. The others are just literally, well, kind of lightly tapped in, but they're just lightly in there. Now it can be just lightly, easily tapped out. I fixed this thing a bunch so it doesn't jam anymore. I cleaned out the inside. It's absolutely spotless and fully greased up and down, everything. It's still got whatever's making it crooked this way is still there, and I don't know anything I can do right now to stop that. I don't remember when I think I fixed the fan last week, so I won't list that necessarily, but to recap in case I didn't, all I did was two fans broke. One of them motor still worked after it quit. It fell down when it broke. I was able to save it from burning up. So I took the working motor and some working frame parts from the one that had lost its motor and fan and burned up. So once they lose their fans, it's pretty near guaranteed they're going to burn up in a matter of minutes. But this one fell over pretty much right in front of me. And so therefore I was able to rescue the motor. And both of them have a little cap nut. They're the same brand, and I don't have one necessarily around. Here's the broken part. Oh, there it is. Anyway, this part here was on the one that's still running. I had to replace it with the one off the one that quit running. So it's got the front half of the chassis, front half of the motor housing of the one that quit running, and then the back half of the motor housing, the one that kept running. Both of them had the same problem here. The plastic nut that holds the fan blade broke. That's what caused the problem in the first place. How that happens, just the fact, I guess, is the plastic gets old and brittle. Other than that, I really haven't done much in here. I cleaned a little bit. Nothing significant. Turn the light off here. Didn't do anything to the trucks. I changed oil on the car. That's nothing fantabulous. I added some stop leak to the coolant system because I wanted to make certain that if it had a radiator problem, it was overheating. And by putting a stop leak in there, I kind of sort of ruled out a head gasket issue slightly, I hope. Still not getting the best of fuel performance now, so it may or may not be related to the same problem. But also I noticed that the thermostat relay is kicking on late for some reason, so that's allowing it to get too hot. So that was pretty much, and all I did was notice it. I didn't replace it. By the way, this is where we're at with the cherry trees. All of them are opening up now. It's just that one happens to be right in the path, so I can walk to it without having to crawl over anything. That's why I just pointed at it. It was the easiest thing to point at. Haven't done anything else to the loader. Since next thing to do is get the alternator attached, and then we'll start wiring up the charging system. The little flower department here is coming along. Some of the wild blackberries are opening up. These things, let me see, that's just daffodils. Again, that's a lone tulip, somehow survived. These things, I don't see any of them opening yet, but they're probably going to open pretty soon, I think. I'm not quite for sure when they open. The hazelnuts, it's really hard to see at this point, but they are opening up and their flowers are extending. Yeah, their buds are swollen and they're about to fully open here pretty quick. Yeah, it's a windy day. It's a nice breeze. More lilies that the deer will try to eat. There's no change yet visibly to the apple. It hasn't opened up yet. The peach. By the way, I fertilized and ashed the peach. See, it's got new branches coming out all along here. I ashed it. I gave it triple super phosphate and zinc sulfate and oh, my brain went dead. Oh, Epsom salt, magnesium sulfate. It's got zinc sulfate and magnesium sulfate. So the irises are popping their little heads up. Of course, again, many of the daffodils are coming into full view now. I realize it would look prettier if I had mowed that, but I can't really get the mower in there very effectively right now. The Rose of Sharon isn't ready to open up yet. The black raspberries are starting to open up just a little bit. Different ones, but they're opening, so they'll be flowering here pretty soon. They flower and set fruit considerably earlier than the tame blackberry. Wild blackberries open up and set before the tame blackberry too. The hyacinth here, there's 3 of them along through here, and they all seem to be doing pretty good. There was a 4th colony, but unfortunately it doesn't seem to have come back this year. So the hyacinths are doing well. Again, the irises are coming up. They should be flowering within a month or so. Daffodils will flower from now till probably late July, different ones. I don't know if any of the rose types are open yet. Yeah, they are. This is I think it's called a climbing tea rose. Something like that. Anyhow, so it's opening up and it'll be flowering here probably in a month or so. Oh, there's some more hyacinths. Those are the ones I transplanted. They weren't doing well. And the first year after I transplanted them, they didn't come up. And I thought that I had lost them. I forgot where I'd put them. And when I looked across there, I didn't see them. But now I see them. There's a ring of them. Because I planted them around a colony of... my brain went dead. The elephant garlic, which seems to grow better in the wild than it does in the greenhouse. Probably because it likes the cooler temperatures in the wild. I don't necessarily see phlox yet, but the creeping phlox will show up in here eventually. Of course, without my glasses, there might be creeping phlox right in front of me and I'm just not seeing it. But anyhow, the irises are doing well, so for now. The flax should come up though. I mean, it's not doing as good as it has in the past, and that may be my own fault for potentially getting overspray of weed killer on it. In which case, if it is, it is, you know. It's not like I'm gonna make excuses. Boy, nose running, so much pollen in the air. Doesn't look like there'd be any, but there's a lot of it. Pollen, mold, dust, a lot of dust. Dry, breezy day. So I'm looking forward to the mint coming up over here. And of course, sometime along, there'll be these orange cocoons all up and around in this area up here. Exactly when, I don't know, but shouldn't be too long. Because they start fairly early in the spring. And there'll be a bunch of them right in that corner And then there'll be some across over there, and then there'll be a bunch of them, whole lot of them right in here, interspersed amongst the various larger trees, bushes, and containers. So I have to be careful when I work over here not to damage their little home, if you will. So this area here, one of the ideas we had was to take all these up and redistribute them more uniformly, since there's bunches of them and then there's thin spots. Make concentric rings that are, well, more ring-like. Somewhere in here, of course, hopefully we'll get the gladiolas back, although since the first year they showed up, the following years they have not flowered. See, there's the stem of one right there. And they grew. They've been coming back. They just haven't been flowering again. This one right here flowered the first year. That's how I knew it was even here. But after that, it has not wanted to flower. This thing looks dead. Well, it's got a couple new leaves. It'll open up here pretty soon and start flowering all over. Then somewhat later, the catalpa will put on a few flowers. I could really encourage the flower, the catalpa to flower probably by throwing some more triple phosphate on it. I don't know though, because I didn't seem to work too well either on the gladiolas or on the crepe myrtle. I don't know if the crepe myrtle's opened up yet at all. I don't know when they start. And since that one got froze back, I don't know how far it's going to have to come back from to get to a strong position, even if it, you know, again, the only thing I can say is it's making babies somehow, even though it hasn't been putting on flowers, which it makes me think it's just a bunch of root stock, which is fine, I suppose. I would like them to flower, though. Yeah, I don't presently see any signs of new growth either from the root or from the upper stems. But there's a couple out here, and they'll be distinct when they're up. Kind of makes it a little hard to go in here and cut and mow, because although really I suppose because of the fact that they usually get cut back a lot, it probably wouldn't hurt for me to come in here in the fall and just mow this area. Mainly to get some of the non-flowering stemmy stuff out. Soon, Bubba's going to be through here supposedly to load some stuff. What exactly? I do not know. But something. He wants I have the track loader ready to let him know so that we can come over here and load stuff. I'm hoping he takes those, because they're getting in the way of me finishing this work, which admittedly I got my own stuff to move, but it's like there's no point in working on it until all his stuff's out of the way. My stuff I can move any want. The air conditioner's his, the hood of the bus is his, then that sheet metal there is his, and so I kind of got to get that out of the way. Then I can move my stuff, the fence, the blocks, the posts, the wood, and everything else is mine. I have no clue what he's going to take this time. Hopefully he'll take this thing eventually, all that, including the truck frame, this cab, and nose clip, and tires. A lot of things. If he's got a place for it, he said he has a use for those tires. I'm like, okay, good deal. You know, so hopefully he'll take them as well. So they just sit there and raise mosquitoes. So if he can take care of some of that stuff, then it'll make life easier on me, because then I can move some stuff around. I got trucks and motorhomes and things to move. Sorry about the wind. Up, I see some verbena up there. I don't know if I really want to scratch myself up too much, get to it, but there's some verbena. And it's one of the very earliest plants to come out. And some there and across here. And yeah, very early riser when it comes to spring, and late setting when it comes to fall. So yeah, and there'll be some more all around in here. You'll see more of it as it opens up for the season. Again, apple tree has not yet fully opened up anywhere yet. It should pretty soon though, I think. I've got to move this pile of dirt, partly just to make it where there's nowhere for the deer and the groundhogs to get up against it. Same with those blocks though. Move all that out of there, make it where they can't get up there against that tree, and then I can put an electro zapper on it to knock snot out of them if I ever get around to it. And of course the red buds are starting to open up. They'll be up for a month or two, progressively flowering, and then of course they may flower again later in the fall. Sometimes they do. The outside mulberries haven't started blooming, but the inside mulberry has. But it's in a greenhouse, so it's in its own private little environment. So it kind of acts on a different time schedule from the ones that are, I don't know, them might be opening up here pretty quick. Yeah, those might open up pretty soon. Don't know. But right this moment, it's kind of hard to see them out there. I mean, there's tens of thousands of flowers right there, but they're all still pretty small, not real bright yet. So they're kind of, you know, just getting themselves along here. But there'll be lots and lots of them, of course. And then shouldn't be too long also, the dogwoods will be coming out. And they'll light up for a while, bright and white, except for one or two pink ones. And then eventually the grapes will come along. Well, I sure hope I get a good year of grapes this year. It was a really good year last year, although I didn't pick them till so late I missed probably half of them. It was a good year for grapes, it just wasn't a good year for picking grapes. In other words, I just didn't get around to it. And some plants didn't flower. Speaking of that, I made a real screw up. I reached out and I physically touched this gentian here a while ago and broke the tip off of it, one of the new bud, and I do not know now if I've done anything to stop it from proceeding forward. I just hopefully haven't hurt it too bad. It might have only wanted to put up one bud, but usually plants are pretty resilient in that kind of case. So I just accidentally bumped the nib off of it. Hopefully it's got several more sites to nib from and create new buds and grow up. My field's just starting to slightly green a little bit from some of the rain. Increasing the rain and increasing the heat just right. You need it not too hot, not too cold, not too wet, not too dry. But it can get pretty wet, and that grass will grow like wildfire once it catches up. But yeah, we've got somewhat of a decent amount of rain in the last couple weeks. Not just super drenching or anything. We had a lot of cold weather still. But all things considered, my hopes are that this will start filling out. Of course, there's literally moss now growing along the spillway there. My hopes are that the Bermuda grass will thatch real heavy, because it likes it really hot, and really wet, because it'll literally grow in standing water or even running water. It'll grow out into the water and just literally build a floating mat, as will some mints. Like, there's henbit. I don't think henbit will grow in floating mats. Makes a tiny little flower. There are tiny little flowers out there. They're hard to see in the field. But if I go out in the field, I can show them to you. I don't know how much longer they'll be up, because they're a really small flower, and I think they just generally like very cool weather. But we'll go through here. Easiest way to get to them. Gretel's gonna cry. Yes, Gretel. You poor thing. It's terrible being a goat, isn't it? Yes, Gretel. Yes, life's terrible, isn't it? Yes, Gretel. Yes, it's so miserable being a goat, isn't it? Yes. Oh well. So these little bitty plants, there's several little bitty plants, including, of course, there's clover, white clover, and then there's some other kind of thing out here, which I don't know if it's a mint or something. And then there's, of course, there's winter rye. If you look really close, little flowers. Some are white, some are blue. It could be a mint, I don't know. Really don't know. But it grows in here. And, yes, Caroline, that's my baby. You squishy, squishy. You want your squishy, squishy? Yes, squishy. Yes. No, you can't have the camera. It ain't goodies. No, it's not food. I know you're like, oh, what's that thing? I want it. It's like, too bad. No, you just don't need it. I'll just give you some squishies, some lovies. Yes, that's my baby. Yes, Caroline. That's what you get when you bottle feed them. Actually, that one I had in my house for a while, back before Mom moved in. And I had her in there until she got hung up on a table and about killed herself. And I said, yeah, I think it's best for her to be outside. So anyhow, the field down here, tree branch fell down. Part of that dying, my brain went dead, forgot what the thing was. Mulberry. That was a mulberry. And it has clearly given up. It was already dead. So I'll just get it off the fence. I say that. I may have to get a power tool in here and do that. Yeah. It's going to take a little more than just a gentle nudge to get that off of there. Because it came loose at the root, and because the root is not entirely broken off, it's probably going to be quite a deal to undo. So probably what will happen is I'll come out here and strap onto it from down below with a tractor or something. See, it's floating from the root, so I'll have to pull it down from downstairs. Good thing I got a lot of long straps. Anyhow, so I've been trying to decide where I want to put the new fence row. I'm thinking from going straight through here in line to that tree over there. And the reason for that is partly so I've got room to work on that side, partly so I don't have to have as much hazard when that'll give me, it kind of wastes some field in one way. It just kind of directs the field to be that field. In other words, it doesn't really waste the field, it just turns it from being an upstairs pasture to a downstairs pasture. I do plan on putting a dam across here at some point, and when I do, it's going to be big enough for a full-size truck to go across. It'll be 8 or 10 feet across, and so when I do that, it's probably going to actually require that I divert the field even more. I don't know. But yeah, I'll run the dam across, and when I do that, it'll help me to make a decision where the rest of the field change is going to be. But that'll allow me to run machinery on this side, and that'll allow me to have a safe place to cut a trench. And when I cut a trench, I can get down and put a retaining wall in here and raise all this up across here. And when I'm done with the retaining wall and all that stuff, then I will be able to put the new fence in, and it'll be on top of a concrete wall with good, safe, pretty, clean, well manicured soil up here. So all this rocks that you couldn't mow. You'll still have goats on it, because the goats are better mower than a mower, but at least that way it won't be and it won't have as bad of erosion, because all the water rushing down the hill will slow down and spread out and stay in the field. Now you notice all this white stuff here. This is from our resident abominable snowman, or goat. Our abominable snow goat. All the way from the back of Mocha there, big old patch of down and guard hairs, and more and more and more and more. Yeah, the babies. It's chestnut. Who's your chestnut? You're the chestnut. Yes, a baby. Yes, she's also a baby. Yes. And so yeah, this is all from Mr. O'Malley. I did find out after obtaining one that you see all that white, that's all from him. Every bit of that. He's just kind of snowing all over the place, or dandruff if you will. Anyhow, so turns out Kikos are also considered hair goats. Maybe not the same kind of hair goats as Cashmere or Angora or sheep, but they're hair goats. And they have a lot of hair. A lot of hair. And so then I have to figure out how I can best take advantage of that, because as he sheds all over the place, oh, I see his freckles coming through. Ha! He's shedding all the way down to the freckles. Yes. Hope he hadn't got mange or something. But yeah, he's probably just shedding because it's hot weather coming up. All his babies, of course, are going to have a lot of hair. Snippy, Snap, Gretel, Jill, and Fluffy Puffy. And then the boys, because they're all his. Now, of course, now he's only part of the equation, naturally, because the other goats' hair quality is going to vary tremendously as far as babies go, because of where their mothers are. So this one right here, Hansel, and then Hans here, he's Alpine in Kiko. Hansel is Boer, Alpine, Kiko, and La Mancha. And Junior is Boer, Kiko, and La Mancha. So they're all a bit different. Yes. Yes, the babies. Yes, the babies. Yes. Alright, what are we gonna do with you? What are we gonna do with you? Yes. Gonna pump you up, Hans and Franz. Yes, all babies. They grow fast. Get a little bit of that ruddy, almost Irish look about him. You want to keep biting my fingers? He wants to bite my fingers off. Anyway, Junior, the really white one down there, is a baby of Samantha? No, Sugar here. Yeah, Sugar. Yeah, Sugar. Who is Boer and La Mancha cross. And then her mama is Boer and La Mancha cross. Has La Mancha ears. This one, she's Alpine and La Mancha cross. Diener. Yes, you're a baby. You're a baby. Yes. She's not really. She's just kind of starting to warm up to humans. Especially after what I've done through. I'm kind of surprised she's being so sociable to me right now, but she's a baby. I hope she'll become a good doe one day, a good nanny. She hasn't had it. She's had a baby, I think. Yeah, she had to have. Can't remember which one it is. Oh yeah, she had Snap. That's right. Yeah, and she's still holding an udder quite well. Yes. Yeah, it's a dinner. Here's a dinner. Here's a dinner. She usually isn't this friendly. I hope this is a trend. You just want my goodie, don't you? You think this is going to do you some good. You can't have that. Anyhow, so, yeah. Hopefully, we'll get some good babies out of them this year. I don't know if any of them are pregnant. Can't tell if any of them are pregnant. But this one, when they live, she makes stellar babies. When they live, she makes stellar babies too. She had triplets, but one got trampled, one got smothered, and the one that's left is Junior. So that's kind of how that went. Yeah. We shall see what we shall see. Yes, Mr. O'Malley, how you doing? Yes, Mr. O'Malley, how you doing? He's going to be wild pretty much the rest of his life. He's never going to really be friendly enough to handle, but I'm going to do my best to get... You know, it's funny, man, look at his horns are 32 inches across. I measured, they're 32 inches across. I was like, wow, he's a whopper. He kind of slimmed down a little bit. I think it's partly because of the fact that... Well, I don't know that he slimmed down. I think it's just he doesn't look as big because he shed all his fluff. In other words, he isn't so much slimmer as he's just less fluffy. Mocha, she's slimmed down a lot. Kind of almost worrisome that she has because she's usually fatter than that and got a bigger rumen. But we shall see what summertime brings. It was a really hard winter. Might have been hard enough to cause some of them to have problems that just were kind of systemic, long-lasting, slow-moving problems rather than sudden, high-impact problems. Of course, hopefully this thing will produce just oodles and gobs of grapes again this year. It was my best producer this year, and hopefully it'll produce a lot. It's got more water than anything else. It's got more manure than anything else, and it's got more protection from the elements than anything else. So hopefully it will really do well. It's growing up on the roof, it's growing up on the front, and it's growing up on that roof, and it's growing up on that roof a little at a time. So, yeah, you keep wanting to eat my fingers. He doesn't know if he wants to have be scritchy scratch. He likes to be scritchy scratch, but he also likes to eat fingers. And he can't decide which is better. Yes, he can't decide which is better. Yes. I'll get you a scratching post of some kind, young man. Anyhow, so I got to figure out what I'm going to do with them. Can't keep them in the herd forever, but I do want to, if I can, like I say, start teaching them to pull cart. If I can teach them to pull a cart, they might be worth something to somebody. Other than the fact that they want to eat your fingers. You just keep wanting to eat my finger. He'll bite my finger off if you give him a chance. But other than that, he's a baby. He's a baby. He's not a bad boy. He just doesn't know that human fingers aren't food. That's all. You just, yeah, it feel good, doesn't it? Yeah. You're just a big boy. You're gonna be really big someday, like your daddy. Yes. You're gonna be big like your daddy. Yes. Dooner. Hey, that Dooner. Hi, that Dooner. Hi, the baby. He's really timid now. He's always been a super baby, but he's timid. Yes, Hanj. You're just all out there. Yes, babies. Alright. Yeah, not any real significant changes in the greenhouse per se. Everything is still as it was. I don't know how loud the radio might be, but pretty much, yeah, no real changes from last time, so not really anything. I still haven't, I've been watering this almost daily just to keep it from dying while I get around to rooting it, hopefully before it just flat out dies. Lots and lots of them. Just got to pick them apart, carefully pot them, and go from there. Other than that, those, just leaving them be for now. If they'll come back, well, I'll put them outside at some point, whether they live or die, just so that they're outside. And If they die, they die. You know, and they did get frostbitten pretty bad. So we'll see what happens. So that's it for this week. So we'll see you next time. Bye for now.